Like I said, the preseason is all about finding out who you are and where you need to go next. Well, the Washington Commanders got plenty of places to go following their first preseason outing of the year. That and more right now on Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On Commanders. I'm David Harrison, your guy on the ground covering the Washington Commanders for WUSA 9, here with you 5 days a week. You can also find me writing about the Commanders for Sports Illustrated's CommanderGameDay.com. And you can follow me on X at dharrison82. I want to thank you for making Locked On Commanders your first listen following the first preseason game of the year. A special thank you goes out to all of the everydayers, those of you who come through for every single episode. I greatly appreciate you. As always, if you're new to the show, thanks for finding us. Hopefully you enjoy what you hear, even though the topic is not the greatest of all the topics in the world to discuss here tonight. But hopefully you enjoy the content, you enjoy the format, and you come back again and visit us soon. Coming up on today's episode, we are going to talk about the Washington Commanders' preseason Week 1 loss at the hands of the New England Patriots. And you're also going to hear at the end of the episode from defensive lineman Johnny Newton, who made probably arguably the best play of the day for the Washington Commanders. All of that coming up on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So let's talk about the game flow here. It started off pretty rough, right? Just right off the bat, a 100-yard kickoff return by rookie running back Travion Henderson for the New England Patriots. And everydayers, if you've been here since before the NFL draft, you remember I was a big Travion Henderson guy coming out of Ohio State, super talented, has the speed, has the vision. And you saw a lot of that on display on that opening kickoff. Now, I will tell you that I do believe Colson Yankoff was held on that play. And if he doesn't get held, he's probably in that final gap that Travion gets through and maybe makes the play or makes the tackle, or at least holds him up enough for somebody to come help make the tackle, corral to the ball carrier. But even if that happens, a very big return given up by the Washington Commanders special teams, even if Colson Yankoff is able to get there as part of that final line of defense. And it wasn't the only one. Multiple special teams errors. Larry Izzo, the special teams coordinator for the Washington Commanders, not going to be any happier than Dan Quinn was. If you heard his press conference after the game, not happy whatsoever with the way things happened. And following that, a 3-and-out for Sam Hartman, who got the start over Jaden Daniels, not over Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels not playing in this preseason game. Marcus Mariota didn't travel with the team for the joint practice or for the game, so Sam Hartman getting the start in place of those two gentlemen. They go 3-and-outs, and the Patriots get the ball right back. But Johnny Newton comes up with the Commanders' play of the day, at least as far as I'm concerned. Strip sack of Drake May, ends up getting the Washington Commanders back the ball at the 30-yard line, New England Patriots 30-yard line. Sam Hartman and the offense come back on the field and very promptly go 3-and-outs, lose a yard, and put Matt Gay in position for a 49-yard field goal, which he then misses. The New England Patriots respond with a 7-play, 61-yard drive that culminates in Drake May's 5-yard touchdown scramble on 3rd and goal, the second touchdown of the day for the New England Patriots. And from there, if you watch the game, you already know, essentially the route was on. Quarter number 2, the Washington Commanders answer back a little bit, but also fell a little bit more behind. They end up dropping back 20-0 after a long 57-yard field goal, which if you're Matt Gay missing 49-yarders and having the practices he's been having here the last few days of practice, go see your opponent nail a 57-yarder. That is pretty rough. And like I said on Twitter, said it to the insiders, if the Washington Commanders do not have at least competition in training camp when we reconvene on Sunday, if not Matt Gay being released, I'm not calling for him to be released, but just the way that the way that the teams kind of handle these situations, would not be surprised. If there's not at least competition in camp on Sunday, I would be greatly surprised. Perhaps Zane Gonzalez, perhaps Austin Seibert, his hip is doing okay. I don't know the status of his injury, but I do expect at least competition in camp for Matt Gay following that. Now, what happened at near the end of the half, the Commanders' best drive of the first half of Sam Hartman's day, 12-play, 50-yard effort. That it did include a 50-yard conversion pass to Michael Gallup that led to a made field goal by Matt Gay. That was followed up by a 62-yard kickoff return by Antonio Gibson, former Washington Commanders running back. So again, multiple special teams mistakes. And then ultimately a 29-yard touchdown drive for the Patriots right before the half. Sam Hartman didn't finish the first half for the Washington Commanders. Josh Johnson came in. It was about 2:33 left in the first half when Josh Johnson came in and the veteran got to try to run a 2-minute drill. Didn't really work out. but the Washington Commanders go into the locker room down big. Obviously, they end up losing big. And that's kind of just where everything, like the second half, obviously more things happened, and certainly we'll talk about some of those things, but ultimately that's essentially where the game kind of went. Looking at Sam Hartman specifically, the second-year quarterback, undrafted free agent rookie out of Notre Dame, getting his first start here, the preseason, getting the opportunity to come out there. A deep dive into his first few series, had an interception, some pressure from the Patriots front, but really not a lot of pressure given up just immediately from the offensive line. And I think that's kind of the important thing to talk about is the O-line, even though it's the second-team offensive line, including rookie right tackle Josh Conerly Jr., going up against the starting Patriots defense, or at least the majority of the starting Patriots defense. The Patriots played a lot of their starters, not all of them. Like I don't think Stephon Diggs played today, but a lot of their starters. So again, good on second best, I guess, if you're the Washington Commanders. So you like seeing the lack of pressure. Certainly there were some times where the plays extended and Sam Hartman held on to the ball and pressure ended up getting there. Eventually is always going to, but immediate pressure was something that was not seen throughout the night. A mid-game adjustment was made. Sam Hartman's best drive of the game, a 12-play scoring drive, really kind of shifted to a hurry-up offense, no-huddle type of offense, rolled Sam Hartman out of the pocket a lot of out-breaking routes to the right side of the field while Sam Hartman is rolling to that side of the field. Those out-breaking routes are longer than they kind of look like on the television screen. Not really Sam Hartman's forte, not really his strength, but when you roll him out in that direction, you kind of get his momentum going there. It helps him out a little bit. So a good adjustment by Kliff Kingsbury helped Sam Hartman kind of have his best drive of the game. Talk to Sam Hartman after the game in the locker room. I will have an article up on WUSA 9, we'll have an article up on CommanderGameDay.com about his comments following the game, so make sure you look for that. I'll have an article up on Sam Hartman's overall day and the drafted rookies on WUSA9.com, so you can look out for that over there. Doing a lot of things in a lot of places these days, ladies and gentlemen. A very tough but valuable learning experience for Sam Hartman. Final stat line, 9 for 19, 64 yards, and interception. Not great, but again, opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow. Josh Johnson, the veteran, like I said, came in shortly before the end of the first half. He ends up with a stat line of 15 for 22, 173 yards, 1 touchdown, and also an interception of his own. Careened off the hands of Jacoby Jones, wide receiver, hit him in the hands, careens off, ends up in the hands of a New England Patriots defender for that interception. But he did lead 2 touchdown drives, had the ability to push the ball downfield, big gains with some receivers, connected with multiple receivers. But again, that interception really kind of killed the momentum trying to come back against the New England Patriots. Not that the comeback was ever really going to happen, to be quite honest with you, but at least putting in the effort. Classic veteran effort, right? You can really kind of just tell that Josh Johnson, the veteran out here on the field today for the Washington Commanders. Coming up next, we're going to talk about some game-defining moments and some breakdowns of some other players outside the quarterback position. All of that and Johnny Newton coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode of Locked On Commanders is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. If you ever wish that managing your money was easier, well, at Monarch Money, it can be. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. However, it is a complete financial command center. So you track all your accounts, your investments, and your spending in one place with Monarch Money. So in addition to managing your money, you can also focus on trying to build your wealth. Watching this game tonight, it's amazing how quickly small mistakes, a penalty here, a penalty there, can really kind of snowball. Your finances are the same thing, except you can also go negatively, but it can also go positively. Monarch is like having your own personal CFO. So use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Today's episode is also brought to you in part by Yahoo Fantasy. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy, and it's the best time of the year. NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means the fantasy football season is back in full swing. And this year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. This year, we're playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too. I'm especially excited for the new Guillotine Leagues. After watching some of the struggles tonight, though, some of the players that you might have had on your rosters could have struggled, and the idea of cutting the lowest scoring team each week adds a whole new level of intensity to your league. It's a killer new way to play, and to celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features in 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they just dropped that Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine League, a killer new way for you to play fantasy football. With the new season around the corner, now is the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. So if you're into the classics, you can still play head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. So stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedon. Talked about the way the Washington Commanders got into the pitfalls or into the hole that they did against New England Patriots here in preseason week number 1. Broke down some of the quarterback play. Now let's dive into some of the other units on the field that we were keeping an eye on here in preseason week 1, starting with the offensive line. Now, a little bit of a mixed bag with the reserves. Not a lot of pressures given up, some pretty solid blocking overall, but also some drive-killing penalties, some play-killing penalties, right? Some big plays that got called back because of some of these penalties that you're certainly going to want to come back. False starts, multiple holding calls, those types of things. Mental mistakes that, I talked to one former player after the game. He kind of told me, look, like obviously you want to clean it up. Obviously you're not going to be happy about it, but you also have to take in the grain of salt. A lot of young players playing today, a lot of guys getting their first NFL action, their first time running out onto an NFL field, playing against another NFL team, and there's just a lot of nerves. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of anxiousness. There's a lot of it. Not to excuse it, but just to kind of understand and contextualize why these things kind of happen the way that they do. Now, you look at the New England Patriots, and right, I think they had, 1 or 2 penalties on the night versus the Washington Commanders, who had north of a dozen. And you say, okay, well, those guys had young players too. Those guys had this and had that. So it's certainly not a one-size-fits-all. Like if you have young players on the field, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to have penalties. But there is a little bit of contextualizing to it to understand that these young guys are out there. And I think what was really cool is caught up with Josh Conerly Jr. after the game. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to show you the video. I recorded it, but I'm not going to show you the video because there's nothing really to see. Josh Conerly Jr. was so, at least this is the way I'm going to perceive it, was so unhappy with the way that the night went for the entire team that we asked him about 5 questions. Me and the other reporters are there around him. And the entire video, guys, 5 questions asked Josh Conerly Jr. The entire video is about 51 seconds. That's how little Josh Conerly had to say. It's how little he wanted to talk to us because he just wasn't feeling it. Just was not happy with the result. But at the end of the day, most of us, I think, right, at least me and the people that I've been talking to, we're coming out of this game saying Josh Conerly had a really solid preseason debut. Played really well. Did he have a lead block on a big touchdown run? No. Did he have a big pull on a quarterback sweep that went for a big gain? No. But did he give up a major sack? No, he did not. Did he miss a key block? No, he did not. So these are all things that when you talk about a rookie offensive lineman, you can really benefit from, and you can really look at him and say, this is where the benefits are coming in, this is where the development is coming in, and this is the path that we want him to be going on. So a very positive night for Josh Conerly, but it's not enough for him. It's not enough for him to just be personally good. He wants the entire team to be successful, and that is what you want in a new member of the team. That's what you want in your first-round draft pick. So, like I said, a little bit of a silver lining just to the mentality of the player that I appreciate. Receivers and running backs, some inconsistent play, especially by the receivers, some key drops early on that really set Sam Hartman back. Look, Sam missed some of his own throws, certainly overthrew a couple of shots. There was back-to-back throws there at one point where he just sailed balls. Missed Jalen Lane on a wide open throw that he absolutely had to be able to hit, but just didn't come down or just didn't make the right throws for the Jalen to come down with the pass. But Sam also was not helped by some of the receiver drops and mental errors that they were making out there on the field. At the end of the game, Jacory Brooks led the team in catches, 5 catches, 59 yards. Wide receiver Tay Martin also came up with 3 catches, 36 yards. Both of those guys kind of the most productive members of the team. And then Demetric Felton, running back, I don't know, like 4th or 5th running back on the depth chart, I think 5th, ended up coming up with a 28-yard run later on in the game. That was pretty big. Unfortunately, not really producing a lot, not really coming in a win, or anything like that, but still some highlight plays from those guys. DBs and penalties, there was a clear area of weakness in some of these guys. Was responsible for a 15-yard face mask called on Dominique Hampton, your star linebacker, star position, I should say. Linebacker, safety, hybrid player. Obviously, you don't want those types of penalties going on, and would beat on several long plays, touchdowns, things like that against the New England Patriots. Really just kind of a continuation of what we saw at practice on Wednesday, where the New England Patriots offense just kind of gave the Commanders defense a lot of work, a lot of looks, and gave them a lot of tape to go back and study to get better from, which is a big part of course, the preseason. Breakouts and standouts. Second-year standout Johnny Newton Again, the strip sack, of course, was big, but he finished with 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. That strip sack. Very little play time for Johnny, very few reps for Johnny, but a very good production line for him, given the time that he was out there on the field. Rookie running back Jacory Croskey-Merritt also looked really good. I had one insider kind of text me that he was the best guy out there. Did leave the field with a little bit of an injury at one point. Told reporters after the game that it was his shoulder, but everything feels okay. He should be all right. I think he was going to come out of the game anyway right around then, so really no harm, no foul as long as he is truly healthy and, you know, not just giving us the player answer, which sometimes happens. But, of course, if he's on the practice field Sunday with a contact jersey, although they're probably not going to make contact, we'll be pretty confident in that diagnosis as well. So Chris Rodriguez Jr. worked in there, got some good work, did have a pass drop, which I know is really going to bother him. He's really a guy who wants to show everybody that he's a better receiver than he has a reputation for. So having those types of drops like he had tonight, certainly something that's going to gnaw on him as well. Some defensive rookies, not a lot of stats here. Linebacker Kain Medrano had 2 tackles. Cornerback Trey Amos had a tackle, but both of them held their own. Neither of them was out of position. Trey Amos was in position incredibly on a couple of really good plays. Patriots quarterbacks were testing him deep during his time on the field, and he was in position to make those plays. Didn't get any direct PBUs, at least not on the stat sheet. No interceptions or anything like that, but you love seeing the young rookie out there competing, being in position to make plays for his team. Speaking of making plays, the 3 most impactful plays of tonight's game. Josh Johnson's 3rd quarter interception. Again, Commanders scored their first touchdown of the game. They're working down the field, trying to get into another, trying to get more into scoring range, and they throw a interception. Again, it kind of creamed off the hands of one of his receivers, but either way, turns the ball over back to the Patriots. They end up scoring a touchdown off that turnover, and it was just kind of one of those nights. Next play was the Johnny Newton strip sack. Great play by the defense. Joe Wade Jr. absolutely going to love his defense, being opportunistic, going out there, making that play. Jacob Martin going out there and recovering the fumble. I keep calling Jacob Martin Jacob Brooks, so if I ever do that on the episode, I apologize. I don't know what my problem is, but Jacob Martin getting the fumble recovery. You'll hear Johnny Newton talk about that here in just a minute, but obviously that was a big play for the defense. Unfortunately, the offense unable to turn it into anything. Special teams unable to turn it into points. And then the biggest play of the game, I think, really just kind of set the tone for the entire night. Opening kickoff touchdown, 100-yard return by rookie running back Travion Henderson. 3 stars of the game. If you're new to the show, if you're new to our post-game program, we do it hockey style. 3rd star, 2nd star, 1st star. The winning team always has 2, which means the New England Patriots get 2 stars. 3rd star, Travion Henderson, running back, kick returner, for obvious reasons. Star number 2, the Patriots' entire quarterback room. They're going to have to cut that star into thirds and share it. 17 for 29, 189 yards and a touchdown pass, plus 18 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. 3 total touchdowns. No interceptions by the Patriots quarterback room. They're probably feeling pretty good about what they did here on Friday night. And then star number 3, Washington Commanders defensive lineman Johnny Newton. Again, 3 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 strip sack for the Washington Commanders star. Speaking of Johnny Newton, we got up with him in the locker room after the game. So coming up next, you're going to hear from Johnny Newton right here on the Locked On Commanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by 5 Hour Energy, unless I drop my phone. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings you the bold, grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol into a quick, energizing shot. Let's be honest, some days you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and to stay energized. We saw it tonight with Johnny Newton. Sometimes you just need an extra boost to make a huge play when everybody else is tired or getting beat up, and that's the kind of focus and boost you need to power through any long day with a great grape, ginger, lime flavor. Be the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without having to chase down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use the promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Get the energizing boost you need to power through and order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. This offer is valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions or on subscription orders. Wrapping up today's post-game episode, preseason week number 1. Unfortunately, the Washington Commanders come up a little bit short, 48-18, falling to the New England Patriots. But Johnny Newton, our one Washington Commanders star, play of the game, for the Washington Commanders, here is Mr. Johnny Newton.
Well, ask you about just training camp overall, right? Obviously, last year you were going through the surgery recovery and all that stuff. Now you're healthy, been able to go through more practices and just kind of be part of the ramp up. How's that feeling for you?
It felt good, to be back 100%. Got a lot of vets in our locker room, Hall of Famer. Somebody with great knowledge to the game, brings it every day. It's cool. It's really cool to have somebody like that teaching all of us young kids, even the older vet stuff that they haven't learned every day. So I apply that to my game every day and just try to be the best me.
And where do you feel like you're taking a step forward in this second season so far?
My recognition with everything. The game has slowed down for me so much. I don't want to say I know what's coming, but I have a great feel for what's coming. So I feel like in that aspect of my game, I've been really good.
And obviously tonight had a really big play for the defense, getting the strip sack. Just kind of talk about what you think about that play and kind of what went through there. I know you haven't watched the tape yet, but just what you recall from it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know how to strip sack until I stood up, and Jake Martin was fumbling the ball, bobbling the ball around. That's when I knew I had a strip sack. I thought he had it actually, and then he was like, "Nah, it was you." So that was pretty cool, I don't come out here stat chasing. I just do whatever we can to help the team win. But to start off the season like that is pretty cool.
And, obviously overall the team didn't have a great night, but just individually kind of how do you feel about your performance?
I wasn't really happy. I feel like I could have done so much more. I know what I'm capable of, so I always hold myself to the highest expectation. And like I said, I could have did so much more, limited on snaps tonight, but like I said, it's the first game of the season, so I won't be too hard on myself and just get better for the next game.
Absolutely. And then as a team, what's the next important step? Obviously, this game is in the record books. History is done. Mm-hmm. What's the important step to take on Sunday when you come back to practice?
Oh, man, cleaning up all those mistakes that we made. We made too much mistakes, a lot of penalties, mental errors, just too much mistakes on our end. That is a really good team, but I feel like we shot ourselves in the foot this game.
What does it take to fix those mental mistakes?
Oh man, just a lot of the younger guys just got more repetition. The more reps they play, the more comfortable they'll be. It's like everybody. Me last year, I'm pretty sure everybody that's played so far, with repetition comes comfortableness.
All right, big shout out to Johnny Newton for catching up with us a little bit in the post-game locker room. Look, it's always difficult for these guys to talk to us after a loss. They don't want to talk, especially on the road. They just want to get on the plane. They want to get home. So I really appreciate Johnny for taking the time to stop and talk to me after the game. Especially, he did a radio interview that took like 15 minutes. So especially a little bit more gracious with his time tonight than a lot of guys even are usually following losses. So again, 48-18, Washington Commanders fall. Good news is it's the preseason. So here in about 4 weeks or so, that 0-1 record is going to wipe away. It's going to go to 0-0. The only thing that's left are going to be the lessons. And on Sunday, we start finding out what's going to happen from the lessons that the Washington Commanders learned this week up here in Foxborough. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Next time on Locked On Commanders, we will be coming back to you live following a practice. Sunday, we've got practice again back in Ashburn. So I'm going to spend all day tomorrow driving home, and then we'll be right back out of practice Sunday afternoon. That practice is at 2 p.m., however, so the episode will drop after I get home a little bit later than it has been during training camp. So in the meantime, if you got questions or you've got comments, all you got to do is text me. To do that, all you got to do is become a Locked On Commanders Insider. Go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. Become an insider today. I'm going to text you everything that's going on, everything that I know or that I think I know, and you can text me all your thoughts, your questions, and even your own analysis. I'm not the only person that knows a little bit about football. A lot of Commanders fans, you're all smart out there. Come through, share your thoughts with me. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Bets podcast. Betting experts Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers have daily Major League Baseball locks and can't miss football futures. So find Locked On Bets on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. To the everydayers out there, I see you every day. I appreciate you every day. And I thank you today for coming through for this episode. Till next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll talk again real soon right here on Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.